You know, they had the plants out, and I could not help but to walk over there because I want to see the price on the plants. I want to see how well those plants are looking and see how healthy they are, because people are buying these plants. So everything into the garden is looking wonderful. I did a video how to grow seedlings, how to plant seeds and get your seedlings for your garden. I was at the grocery store and I noticed they have plants out there, and I always look at them, which don't buy them, but I always want to look at the price, see how well actually the plants look. I went to Lowe's also. You know, they had the plants out, and I could not help but to walk over there because I want to see the price on the plants. I want to see how well those plants are looking and see how healthy they are, because people are buying these plants. Well, I looked at them. A lot of them were leggy, and people don't know what leggy is. They think, oh, this is a big plant. No, this plant's leggy. Also, I noticed that with the plants, they have obviously pushed the fertilizer to them to get them to grow. I did purchase one plant, and for a fact of seeds, it's a grilling squash, and so I've kind of not put it in this garden, but put them into another section, hopefully to get some seeds. But a grilling squash. When I noticed people buying the plants, you know, in some sections of like cucumbers and squash and stuff like that, it looked like they just kind of put 4 or 5 seeds, dumped them in there. Not spacing the seeds out, just kind of dumped it in a pot. So when these seeds grow, they kind of, all the roots are right there, the plants are coming up. It looks like this beautiful little plant, when actually it's just a leggy, overgrown plant pushed with fertilizer, and they're all bunched up, and I'm thinking, these people think they're getting a deal, but when they try to pull those roots apart, then it's going to have really a lot of transplant shock. And a lot of times, my experience in the past, when you do that, you just don't get a whole lot of roots. A lot of roots are torn away. No matter how careful you're doing it, the roots are torn away, and then the plant ends up dying. So you're really not saving any money. It just looks like that you're getting a good deal, especially the cost of plants when they're $5 a piece, and you got 4 or 5 little plants in there. It looks like you're getting a good deal. So I bought this grilling squash, and the plant, I noticed it was leggy. Squash is not too bad, and I kept looking around till I could find one not as leggy, because you don't want your plants to be leggy because they're not going to produce that well. They're just not going to do good. So you want a healthy plant. And so I looked around until I found one that looked pretty good. And so then I took it home to go ahead and I watered it, let it set overnight, make sure, it's just got a good nutrients, not good water. Not the fact that I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of water on there, because when you get plants at Walmart or places like that, or big box stores, should I say, then, they just go out and sprinkle some water. They might water them, they might not water them. It stresses the plants out a lot. And so I watered this plant, and next day, and I'm a gardener, so I know when I take that plant out that it's going to produce a lot of transplant shock. It's going to, these roots the roots in there, they could be all tangled up. Well, when I took the plant out gently to pull it, first of all, I noticed there wasn't that much roots. So they got this plant that's been pushed. It's leggy and very little root system. And I'm like, wow, people are just pretty much getting ripped off, because if you can't get enough root system on there, then you're just not going to have a very good plant. Now, would it work with that plant sitting there for a week or so? Well, to my opinion, with squash, especially certain types of vegetables, since it was already big, the size of it would have been pushed, and the legginess of it, my thing I was thinking was that I need to go ahead and get this into the ground, so it can get this proper nutrients, get in there, get settled before it gets any bigger and produce any more harm to the plant. Now, some people can plant squash bigger. I've been growing squash all my life, and I really have better success in direct sowing squash seeds, certain type cucumber seeds, than having in a pot. Or the fact of it is that they're so sensitive. They're a tender plant. So when I looked at the root system, it was just unbelievable how little root system these four or five plants had in that container. I was really shocked. So I am babying those plants, and we'll see if they make it or not. My experience in the past, when I have that has happened, when you start pulling those roots apart, so much transplant shock, you end up losing. You're lucky to get one or two to live. So you're just not gaining anything from it by them throwing the seeds in there, making it look like you're getting something else for a good deal, and you're actually, in the long run, if you really don't know anything about gardening, then you will, or very little, or just for the fact, I don't care how much you know, you can still lose those plants. So the garden's looking very well. These are cabbages. They're beautiful. They look really well. Very little insect ordeal. I see one right here. Looks like a possibility of a grasshopper. I keep looking, but I don't see anything. The other ones look very well. So usually I find out that they'll pick one plant, and as long as they target that one plant, and I can't get them, then I'm cool about it. Nothing has been sprayed onto these cabbage plants at all, thank God. So they're looking very healthy. As long as they continue looking healthy, then they definitely will not get anything sprayed on them. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Watch my video on how to plant seeds into cell trays to grow seedlings for your garden, because you can save so much money. One kale plant at the big box store was $5. I probably got 30 into my greenhouse. I never have counted them, but I was like, wow, what are you going to do with one little kale plant? I mean, yeah, they can get big, but what are you going to do with that one? I mean, it would just amaze me. $5? You would have to spend, my opinion, you have to spend 20 or 30 bucks to really kind of get something really going for your season. But anyways, watch my video on, I got videos on potatoes, how to grow potatoes. These are 90 days old. The other ones are 60 days old. These are just starting to die back. They're getting a little bit of blight, which is normal for my area. They're dying back, and I can't wait for those to continue on dying back so I can go to harvesting. I have cantaloupe here, watermelon, squash, different types of squash. Tomato plants are doing wonderful. Garden peas, black-eyed peas, big purple butter beans, I believe it was. Anyways, I have a video on how to grow sweet potato slips, and I've got some corn going on this year. Never grow corn. So say it with me. See how well I do on that. That's another adventure. I usually don't grow watermelon. So these two items, watermelon and corn, are a type of vegetable that is kind of hard to grow. I guess if you had it on a drip system, then it'd be easier. But they're kind of peculiar. So I am venturing into that area of watermelon and corn and learning how to grow with that. I'm going to be probably making some mistakes. I'm going to be learning a lot of things and learning what to do, what not to do. And hey, maybe I'll get it right the first time. If so, that'll be awesome. So stay with me and see how well I do into my journey into this garden. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you onto the next video.